Hi there. Look, if you've been following me on Instagram, you would have seen me post on Sunday about this AI tool called Manus AI. And I was going a bit crazy about it, and I wasn't going to spend any time on my computer on Sunday. I ended up spending an inordinate amount of time on the computer Sunday to tear myself away to go watch my football team, Brisbane Roar FC, play. But I was almost like, do I even want to go? Because I wanted to test it out. I got on the wait list last week after watching a video from Greg Eisenberg, who I follow on YouTube, and he was posting a few videos. The first one was an interview with a guy, and basically during the interview, the guy he's interviewing is creating a software tool that would compete with DocuSign. So what Manus AI did was basically it looked at what DocuSign did. It said, which part do you want to replicate? And the guy wrote, I just want the e-signature part. And it created a software tool that did that and built a website. So wow, incredible. So I saw this and I'm like, right, I want to get on the wait list for Manus AI. And so I was over the moon when I got accepted to it on Sunday. I think now, as you're listening to this, it's becoming way more mainstream. I posted about it on LinkedIn on Monday, and actually quite a few people that have jumped on the wait list have already been notified that they're in. So I've kind of derailed their day as well. Sorry if that's you. And look, I think there's so many different use cases for this. Another thing that Greg Eisenberg did was he did a whole YouTube video on just searching for $1 million startup ideas. Now, what is so different around Manus to ChatGPT? It's actually kind of similar to ChatGPT Operator, which is a $200 a month price tag, but I think it's better than that. What Operator is, this is when AI takes on a completely different meaning and helpfulness and utility. With ChatGPT and Claude and all those different types of prompt type of software, where if you said to ChatGPT, hey, give me some ideas for this, it'll give them to you back, but then you would go off and have to create it and do stuff. Manus is the hands-free version of doing it. It's kind of like a driverless car. It's autopilot. The example I gave on LinkedIn was we've got this 1979 Trans Am, which we got recently. I should do a story about that. But my husband bought it, and while he's trying to get it roadworthy and fix it, because there's a few kind of things that need fixing. And the good news is he's a car guy, so he's picked this stuff up, rusty bolts. Some of these things we had to order in from the US, so it's taking a bit of time to get parts. But as we do that, try to get it roadworthy, we're trying to think of a cool number plate to put on it. And so ChatGPT, I could go to it and go, hey, here are the specs. Can you find some stuff? And it came up with some fun suggestions. But then I'd throw it into PPQ, which is Personalised Plates Queensland, and PPQ would be like, oh, sorry, that plate's already taken. So I was like, how annoying. So I've got these ideas and I'm having to manually try them and get rejected in PPQ. So I took this task to Manus. I know it's this is a no business value, but just a fun thing to just share how this tool worked. I threw the same prompt into Manus and said, hey, jump onto the PPQ website. I want you to see what plates are available. Give me recommendations, give me prices. So I put that prompt in, sat back, started sipping some coffee. I opened up the second browser. So Manus has its own browser. So it's not taking over my computer. It opens up its own browser and you see it in real time. First thing it did was investigate, just look at all the PPQ plates, different types of plates you can get for cars, particularly the American number plate, because that's the only one that will fit on this car because it's actually quite slimmer than other plates. So it did that. Then it started looking up different combinations, a bit like the Trans Am in terms of it's a V8 engine, kind of bringing in all these different themes. So I'm watching this thing on open its own browser and just start clicking around the PPQ, trying different combinations, clicking on the website, which is extraordinary. So it's hands off, it's doing stuff. Well, and I can do other things in the meantime. I mean, that is just a basic use case of personalized plates. Then I was like, okay, a trip to Egypt, book me a trip to Egypt in November, or just get me some quotes on a 10 to 12 day trip. I love the history. This is the type of hotel I want to stay at. I'm based in Brizzy. These are the towns I want to go to. And it's created this itinerary. Now, what was interesting is it opened Skyscanner and it asked me, there comes a point where some websites require you to do that thing to prove that you're not a robot, right? For this case, that you're actually human. So what Manus does is it notifies you, hey, I need your intervention here. So I take back control of the Manus browser. I complete the task that a human has to do to verify they are human. Then I give it back to the bot, and the bot then takes over and continues doing searches, which is absolutely incredible. So this is the disruption we've all been waiting for. I think previously with prompting and everything else, it's yeah, cool, this is fine, but you still have to get involved and do the admin and the manual work. What I'm thinking now is what else can I provide Manus AI? And so, of course, I always talk about it in the next book. I really want to figure out what actual problem am I solving? Please find the voice of the customer. This is the target persona I'm looking for. Please search subreddits, search LinkedIn, look for global trends in work and business and project to me. The other thing I could have said was, please look at the Y Combinator, like what funding has gone to different companies, because that also reflects trends in terms of where the market is going to. What is fascinating about this is if you think about SaaS, like software as a service, if I can create no-code software using Manus, here's a prediction that Elon Musk talked about. I know not the man of the moment, but I heard him in an interview and he was saying, someone asked him, like, in 10 years, where do you think this AI thing will go? And he says, well, it's going to make a lot of goods and services worth practically nothing. So obviously there's a lot of tech tools, a lot of VC that goes into software. If we can all create software, create our own personalized tools to use, then why would I pay a monthly subscription for any other tool, right? So if I can create a copy of Descript, if I can create a copy of Loom, why would I then pay for it? This is what I find is really interesting. So while it's solving a lot of things for me, I'm also having a lot more questions as well. Other things, I uploaded my book, the 2-hour workshop blueprint manuscript, into it. And I said, I'd love to create a companion guide. Here's who it's for, this type of language I'd like to use. Give me some space for lines. So the person using the workbook, they get the result of, they have a completed workshop run sheet, spark sheet, which is what I call it. By the end of the workbook, give them prompts, pull some quotes from my book to help and to guide them through this process. And I create this PDF and actually show it. I've created a new free community on Substack. There is an all access component to that, and that's like behind a paywall, $80 a year, just for this stuff that I don't want to share too publicly, but is available for like insiders. And so I actually show this 13-minute activity, how it happened, how it evolved, what the output looked like as part of that. Wow, so many different things. You can use it again for business ideas, for really understanding, going on maybe a virtual listening tour without actually having to listen to people, but you get a lot more data in terms of what the population's going to. If you really want to pull up trends that are current or predicted, this is a great tool to do that. It does consume a lot of your energy on the computer, so definitely worth getting something powerful to run it. I've already paid for the upgrade for Manus. I'm on the $39 a month thing, just to like, well, that means I can run like 2 simultaneous tasks as well. It's pretty incredible seeing this thing run in real time and just seeing it check different websites and do different things. So if I'm looking for quotes on different venues, I just send it to Manus. It can even do things like create personalized meditations. So I might actually create one of those or do something like maybe a pep talk that I'll share in a future episode. When you get access, it shows you all the different things it can be used for, like just a kind of general fun thing. One was get a high school curriculum and create a 2-minute movie trailer about. So if you're thinking around, like something I write about in my book is like, how do you build the hype for a session? And a lot of it's in the pre-video. But what if you could be part of that video as well, but you could also have this kind of AI generated video in the background and you just prompt it and it gives you that. So it kind of replaces all these other tools as well. Anyway, that's just a high level. I've only played with it for a few hours. I've had some fun doing some in real life coaching today with an awesome client who's actually speaking at an event on Thursday. So it's really fun working with her. I've had to come home and just catch up on some stuff. So I'm recorded this podcast and now I'm going to go back to playing with Manus and I'll share maybe some future creations on this podcast. Thanks so much for listening and I'll speak to you tomorrow.